So it was finally time to upgrade our carry-on suitcase, but was the purchase worth it? A few weeks ago, Lucas and I returned from our East Coast road trip only to discover that our carry-on suitcase needed to be replaced. Our Samsonite luggage sets have lasted us about 2 years now when we got them as wedding gifts back in 2020, but after some pretty rough travels across the country as well as international travel, we unfortunately have to retire this one a little bit sooner than we had originally planned. It was Lucas's carry-on suitcase that needed to be replaced. I wanted to leave it up to him on whether or not he wanted to replace it with either a cheap and quick option that we could get on Amazon, or if we wanted to invest a little bit more coin into an option that claims to be of higher quality. Being the amazing husband that Lucas is, he assured me that he wanted me to try out the higher quality suitcase option so that way we can know if it's truly worth buying the entire luggage set. He said that he would just take my old Samsonite carry-on suitcase in the meantime, even if it's purple. So he didn't have to tell me twice. So I ended up writing down a whole list of criteria that I was looking for in a brand new suitcase. Things like a TSA approved lock, 360 spinner wheels, a hard shell case. After many hours of combing through the internet looking through all the different luggage options, I ended up being torn between two. The first option was a beautiful beige carry-on in gray, which to be honest, I have been eyeing beige luggage for like the past few months, but for now, the second option, or I should say the option that I ended up going with, was the CalPak Hue Carry-On Suitcase in Atlantic with the Hardshell Pocket. And it looks like this. If you couldn't tell, the Hardshell Pocket that's found on the outside of the suitcase was definitely the thing that sold me on purchasing this suitcase. I just needed to try it out for myself. I'll explain more on why towards the end of the video, but first let's chat about my first impressions on the CalPak Hue suitcase. It obviously came in a shipping box, but when you did open the box, the suitcase did come in a protective layer. I think I'd like to call it like a duster bag. You'll also find a really cute little marketing pamphlet with a brochure and some stickers as well, which I thought was a fun touch. I will say that including the protective layer on the suitcase upon opening it in the box really gave it that luxurious feel. It felt like you were opening a present. So shout out to their marketing team for that strategic packaging design, because it definitely worked for me and left a great first impression when you're unboxing. So the dimensions are 21.5 inches by 13.75 inches by 9.25 inches, and the packing capacity is 38 liters. The shell's smooth texture definitely seems like it's going to be pretty easy to wipe down clean, and the hard shell design seems like it's going to be durable enough to withstand all the wear and tear that can happen during long travel days. I did want to call out too a feature that my previous Samsonite carry-ons did not have, and that is the TSA approved lock. Our check-in luggages had this feature, but our carry-ons did not, and so I think it's going to be really nice moving forward to have a carry-on suitcase with a TSA lock. Moving on to the handle, it feels pretty strong when it's locked in and extended, but what's especially nice is that it also has a super smooth release. We always love that because we hate a handle that gets stuck when you're trying to release it back down. I also wanted to take a moment to appreciate the 360 spinner wheels, which I believe is a total necessity when traveling. Once you go with luggage that has 360 spinner wheels, you really can't go back. So I definitely wanted that, and it was definitely a requirement for me when looking for a new suitcase. We can move on now to opening it. This is the best I could do for a view. So once you open it up on the inside, there's definitely a lot of storage options that you have that are built into the suitcase itself. On the left side, you can see that there are two zippered compartments that are mesh that you could use to organize your luggage. And on the right side, there's also this little pouch that is actually snapped in. So if you wanted it, you could keep that here, but if you didn't want it, you could also remove it. There are also two hidden side zipper pockets. They're obviously pretty narrow, but they are there just in case you wanted to maybe hide some jewelry or kind of use this for extra storage and organization. And of course, we love a good compression strap, so those are available to really compress your stuff. On the left side, you can also unzip this compartment for a little bit more added storage. So for this side, there aren't any zippers or additional organizational here, but I do tend to use this side for my shoes or like pajamas or running clothes. When the suitcase itself is laying flat, the external pocket on this side does push out into this side of the luggage. I think it's more so an illusion though, because I think once the suitcase is standing, the external pocket does jut out a little bit from the suitcase. So I think realistically this will expand once it's standing, but I will admit that when it's laying flat, it does feel pretty shallow here compared to my original Samsonite hardshell. That is what the inside of the suitcase looks like. I do travel with packing cubes, and so I tend to use those to help me organize my suitcases, but it's always nice to have built-in zippered compartments to help organize as well. Moving on to the finale, I did mention it briefly just a second ago, but I did want to spend some time talking about the hard shell external pocket. This right here definitely has the potential to either be a massive disappointment if it doesn't meet my expectations, or it could be a total game changer when traveling. And so I am really excited to try this out for myself. I'll show you guys here that this is the external laptop pocket. You unzip it like this, and this is adhered via snaps and Velcro, so that way it doesn't just completely open. But on the inside, and I'll show some B-roll to kind of show you guys a better view, but there is this Velcro that kind of straps everything in. There's a laptop sleeve here, and even like another like iPad sleeve, I would say, but you could also probably fit 2 laptops on that side. On the outer facing side, there's also these 2 pockets, and then there is also a mesh pocket here at the bottom as well, which I will probably most likely be putting snacks there. So that is the external pocket on the CalPak Hue Carry-On. As of right now, I do travel with 2 laptops on pretty much every single trip. One is for work and the other is for personal use. Before purchasing this guy, I always carried both of my laptops in my backpack, because let's be honest, it's always so awkward to pack your laptop into a carry-on suitcase and having to lay it on the floor at the airport, unzipping it, taking it out, and then when you have to put it back, you have to again find a place to lay down your carry-on suitcase and unzip it and place it back in, and it's always a little bit more of a hassle in my opinion. So I've always just put both laptops into my backpack for easy access, even if that meant more weight. But with that said, take 2 laptops and some camera equipment, which usually entails my 2 DSLRs and a few lenses. And then on top of that, I do also sometimes bring my cat Sherbert in his cat carry-on. After a while, it all starts to get pretty heavy. So that's why I thought that the CalPak Hue with the external pocket may be the solution that I've been looking for when traveling. Whether I am bringing this in a backpack or this and Sherbert's carry-on, I will still always have a place to put either one of the laptops or both laptops, as well as wallets and passports and everything. Of course, I will admit that only time will tell if this suitcase will be worth the purchase, but there you have it. Those are my first impressions when opening and unboxing the CalPak carry-on. I truly can't wait to put it to the test and bring it with us on our upcoming travels this year. After a few trips, I'll be sure to come back on here to let you guys know how I like it. We do have a trip coming up on Wednesday, and so that will be its debut. So stay tuned for where we'll be taking this first. I will be announcing on Wednesday where we'll be traveling to next, so keep an eye out for that video. But until then, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Life is a winding road,